If you are a new boss, hark back to the generosity gene we described earlier in the book. The Unseen Body, a doctor's journey through the hidden wonders of human anatomy. A few weeks later, while sitting along the salmon-choked uh, Kailino River in northern Kamchatka, I watched the water flowing and the fishing fighting their way upstream, and my own thought about my future gathered and coalesced. Irresistible. The rise of addictive technology and the business of keeping us hooked. But many apps are free and they still fail miserably. The brain's way of healing, remarkable discoveries and recoveries from the frontiers of neuroplasticity. She couldn't read or concentrate, even to watch the television. My brain couldn't keep up with anything. Everyone communicates, that few connect. What the most effective people do differently. Connectors inspire people. In 2008, when Bill spoke during the closing session, his talk was on the importance of leaders inspiring others. The checklist manifesto, how to get things right. The flight had been completely uneventful to this point. The end of big. When to loosely knitted organization that exists in secrecy outside the established norms face each other, the one with the guns evidently wins. The cancer of the book. I am a cancer patient, viewed with pity and awe and a certain misunderstanding by those who have not shared my journey. Economic indicators. Merchandise trade account. This refers to goods or visible trade, such as the export and import of cars, home electronics, bananas, bicycles, and calculators. How successful people lead. Attitudes. Their ability to remain positive and tenacious amid negative circumstances. As a leader, your goal should be to identify the capacities of potential leaders, recognize what they think their capacities are, and motivate, challenge, and equip them in such a way that they close the gap between the two. Some people possess an X factor. They are the winners. They contribute beyond their job responsibilities, and they lift the performance of everyone on their team. When you discover people with these characteristics, recruit them. They are a joy to develop, and whatever you put into them return to you many times over. Never check email in the morning. Define follow procedure. Decide together how follow-up will occur. Do you want the person to come to you with questions as they arise, or save them to go over all at once? Who will follow up? When? What is the best mode of communication? Phone, email, in-person meetings. How pleasure works, but do they really have a specific desire to contact these essences? Does their essentialism give them pleasure? I think it's too early to tell. Currency wars, the making of the next global crisis. The increased debt from the failed Keynesian stimulus became a cause celebre in the currency wars. Crazy. A father's search through America's mental health madness. A few even suggested that schizophrenia was simply an enlightened way of thinking. The silo epic, the peril of expertise, and the promise of breaking down barriers. But what made the experiment doubly vulnerable was an issue that has long haunted Chicago's political scene: race. Tools of Titan, the tactics, routines, and habits of billionaires, icons, and world-class performers. This control will help you endurance even before biochemical adaptation. Korea, the impossible country. South Korea's amazing rise from the ashes. The inside story of an economic, political, and cultural phenomenon. This culture will die out eventually as the role of women in business is increasing. For now, though, it continues to hold greater importance. The mobile wave, how mobile intelligence will change everything. These markets were about 10 miles apart. Jjigae and Jim, stews and braised meat and fish. Jjigae is a heartwarming comfort food. Reader come home, the reading brain in a digital world. Now consider the fact that when we adults watch television news, We are often unable to listen to the broadcaster, and simultaneously read the news crawl with anything close to optimal comprehension of either content. A time to build, from family and the community to Congress and the campus, how recommitting to our institution can revive the American dream. They are formative because they act on us directly, and they offer us a kind of character formation for which there is no substitute. Noise, a flaw in human judgment. If this approach sound different from a traditional chatty interview, it can feel more like an exam or interrogation than a business encounter, and there is some evidence that both the interviewees and the interviewers dislike structured interviews, or at least prefer unstructured ones. Here comes everybody. Revolution doesn't happen when society adopts new technology. It happens when society adopts new behaviors. This effort led to the GNU Public License, or GPL, which Torvalds was to adopt almost a decade later. Effective executive compensation, creating a total reward strategy for executives. The incentive is generally a decreasing proportion of revenues paid over 5 to 10 year period. Learning disability myth. Clearly, this was not going to be a one treatment fix, as can happen with the younger children, and would require the cooperation of both Simon and his mother. Manifest your desires. 365 ways to make your dreams a reality. You may blame yourself for not being strong enough to appreciate some unhappy people in spite of their negative emotional upbringings towards you. Bold, how to go big, create wealth, and impact the world. Our design, look, and feel stayed similar throughout the campaign, helping us scale quickly. Skin in the game, hidden asymmetries in daily life. Being the Salafi is not a race, but a political movement. Criminal organization, yet people fear being labeled racist so much that they lose their logical faculties. The age of agile, how smart companies are transforming the way work gets done. Was it negligence, like the cobbler who forgot to repair his own children's shoes? on the AI revolution. Right now, Sophia is both an R&D platform and a showcase spokes of the robot. But our long-term idea foresee service robots being ubiquitous as desktop computers, telephones, and cars today. Yeah, the formula to achieve bigger goals through accelerating teamwork. By seeing how much you are cared for, you become more committed to your team. Kill the company and the status quo. Start an innovation revolution. Yeah, put on your coats and meet us in the lobby. Who's pulling your strings? How to break the cycle of manipulation and regain control of your life. You must realize that this shift in the power equation inevitably will alter the relationship and the behavior of both parties involved. Do not be afraid of this sudden change. 4 steps to building your future. Keywords. Search engine users type in a series of 1 or more keywords in hopes they will find a website that match their interest. Marketing effectively. Be aware that any change in adding up often indicates something to hide. The value of stock in a warehouse, a plant, a piece of equipment, or any other item in the accounts would be affected if the biddings were to cease to exist. Yeah, working capital available for daily operation of an organization, usually expressed as current asset less current liabilities. The psychology of wealth. Understand your relationship with money and achieve prosperity. When it recalled the moment, Dennis laughed. What matters now? The second hypothesis has more to recommend than it. How to read. One of the controversial things in college basketball has been the so-called one and done situation, where high school players go to college for 1 year and then get drafted into the NBA. A world without work, technology, automation, and how we should respond. A UBI engage with the first set of questions, but not the second. Be happy. Release the power of happiness in you, the family story. For that reason, I devote significant amount of time in the course to a deep inquiry into the family story. The most important thing, uncommon sense for the thoughtful investor. The most important thing is investing defensively. There are old investors and there are bold investors, but there are no old bold investors. When friends ask me for personal investment advice, my first step is to try to understand their attitudes toward risk, toward risk and return, toward risk and return. Asking for investment advice with specifying without specifying that is like asking a doctor for a good medicine without telling him or her what ails you. So I ask, which do you care about more, making money or avoiding losses? The answer is invariably the same, both. An ugly truth inside Facebook's battle for domination. Yeah, nice meeting with Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook in the Oval Office today. Read the caption. Chicken soup for the soul. Message from heaven. 101 miraculous stories of signs from beyond. Amazing connection and love that doesn't die. That evening at home, I sat at my computer when all of a sudden the pungent aroma of his aftershave, combined with the distinct antiseptic smell of his nursing facility, filled the room. Dad was there. I knew what that had meant. How chat had a lie, getting smarter about visual information. High-income nations tend to have high life expectancies overall. They are high on the vertical axis, but cigarette consumption, horizontal axis, is all over the place. Cigarette consumption is high in some countries and low in others. Yeah, civility in America. So I had to have a conversation I was trying to avoid. I was trying to avoid them for the right reasons, but they were wrong. You cannot do that. You need to have those type of conversation to be true to those people who you care about. Strategies of the Serengeti. After the fashion retail giant Philip Green failed in his bid to buy M&X, Stuart Rose was appointed to recover M&S's fortune. Animal spirit, how human psychology drives the economy and why it matters for global capitalism. The reasons for wage rigidity. Evidence from a survey of firms. One your first grader needs to know fundamentals of a good first grader education. Practice your subtraction facts until you know them without having to count backward. The science of mind. Today I completely accept my holies. Get off your butt. How to end self-sabotage and stand up for yourself. With the takers, drainers, and destroyers in the driver's pit. In the drivers of the pit crew, there's no way he or she would be able to win a race. Actually, the car wouldn't even be able to get back on the track. Leading with an emotional intelligence, hands-on strategies for building competent and collaborative staff performance. Are there indications of using indirect influence, that is, others' internal and external research information, articles, and stories? Teens talk getting into college. One-on-one true stories from kids who have lived through it. The campaign. Oh, I'm gonna try with a little help from my family. After all, Cage's first sentence as a baby was "Touchdown Notre Dame." Students have personally experienced the entire context, where functions come from, how they are constructed, and how they can be used. The Mozart effect, tapping the power of music to heal the body, strengthen the mind, and unlock the creative spirit. I believe that a nation that allows music to be expandable is in danger of becoming expendable itself. Bobby was a hyperactive boy in my classroom. A long, bright future, happiness, health, and financial security in an age of increased longevity. Armand makes an important point. The state of these children's environment before birth didn't just take a toll on them. It cost society. It cost society too. A companion to gender the studies, sexual division, and ethnic adaptation. Half of one you hear, a delicious, insightful page turner. As she stands, wipes her hands across her face, and then follows Max out to the hall. A 5-day weekend, freedom to make your life and work rich, with a purpose. Financial institution want your money. Influence, science, and practice. There is a lesson. There is a lesson here. There is a lesson here. An automatic pilot device like social proof should never be trusted fully. Even when no saboteur has slipped information into the mechanism, it can something haywire, go haywire by itself. Mastering Fear, a Navy SEAL's Guide. If we are honest with ourselves, often the answer is no, because there are too many problems we haven't solved, ambitions still unfulfilled, dreams still unchased, too much about our lives that we haven't figured out or had the chance to explore and enjoy yet. Change is good, you go first. 21 ways to inspire change. In a few instances, when he couldn't answer the question, I watched him take a business card and say, "Someone will be in touch with you in the next 24 hours." Even at the end of the flight, there was a Neely man in his blue apron reading to the charge, collecting the trash from the seat to the pocket. Now, here is a question for you. Is there any doubt that JetBlue employees knew that their leader was willing to walk the talk when it came to serving the customers? And is there any doubt that the front line knew he was on their team? When asked if he sought the leading by example was the most important quality of leadership, the great humanitarian Albert Schweitzer thought for a second and then replied, "No, it's not the most important one. It's the only one." Masters of Scale, surprising truths from the world's most successful entrepreneurs. I started selling all across the United States and Canada, and some to Europe as well, he recalls. Surviving the technological alteration of the modern mind. Key strategies for bridging the brain gap. The perception is that if it were really important, the sender would have personalized the message. Tech trends in practice. The 25 technologies that are driving the fourth industrial revolution. Even without the need for gene editing, genomic data can be beneficial to public health, in particular the development of precision medicine, where treatment is based on an individual genetic makeup. The adversity paradox, an unconventional guide to achieving uncommon business success. Yet the trick is to make and then some a lifelong habit. A lifelong habit. Think of where your kids could go if you are teaching them to rely on the power of and then some, never to settle for doing just enough to get by. Making children mind without losing yours. It should always be followed up with explanation of why the spanking was necessary and those all-powerful words, "I love you" and "I care about you." The top 10 distinction between millionaires and the middle class. Most middle-class people stay at the same level of income year after year because their knowledge stays at the same level year after year. One reason for this is because they think learning ended with school. with school. Millionaires are students of life. Millionaires are students of life. They continually learn from the circumstances of their lives. Millionaires are students of life. A common question millionaires ask is, what can I learn from this? In contrast, the middle class asks, why does this always happen to me? Because it does learn the lessons life is trying to teach. The middle class is destined to go through the situation again. I like what the preacher said about this. He said, you never fail one of God's test. You just keep taking them until you pass. How true. Rest. Why you get more done when you work less. 10 proven methods for resting that will radically improve your life work. It is quite nice to have an office, and even nicer to have a warm, well-furnished home. How about the business review on managing your career? Reawakening your passion for work. That you have a good understanding of the other person and yourself, especially regarding strengths, weakness, work style, and needs. Traction. Get a grip on your business. Poor communication. I felt alone. I felt alone in my understanding of what was needed in the company. I also was misunderstood. This is one of the secrets to the EOS methodology. We don't let leadership teams turn back. How to survive your freshman year. Professor whom I reported to reverently as the 13th Olympian goddess taught an auditorium full of undergraduates about the follies, jealousies, battles, and most prominently, the sex lives of Greek small gods and mortals alike. Stop white people like the definitive guide to the unique taste of millions. Within modern white society, this type of humor is considered essential for any sort of romantic success. Solve for happy, engineer your path to joy. Yeah, once we build our model, we have a hard time getting rid of it. We make that model for the foundation of our expectation in the happiness equation and compare life to it as it unfolds. The Book of Why, the new science of cause and effect. At this point, it would have been easy for Hong to jump to the conclusion that the algebra for all was not a success, but she didn't because there was another factor. This time, a mediator, not a confounder to take into account. Money doesn't grow on trees. A parent's guide to raising financially responsible children. Then multiply that number by the amount of the bill. How to figure out the tip. The secret language of obedience. How to read anyone in 3 seconds or less. Master body language. Decipher hidden meanings. Influence anyone. Your body language when hiring can affect how the hiring process proceeds as well as the quality of the interviews you conduct. The vegetarian myth, food justice and sustainability. I heed the words of Jessica, also of Full Moon Feast, who write, all the bookstores are full of advice on how to be healthy or thin or both, and there is a constant stream of media telling us which foods are good for us and which bad. I have found that very little of what I hear about food in contemporary America to be useful to me. The subject of information doesn't help me eat well. In fact, it confuses me and sends me on the back. subject. 와, 이거 오랜만에 보네. Doesn't help me. Yeah, easy way to stop smoking. Everyone who read this book stops, and I stopped. This is explained in more detail in the coming chapters. Cover letters now updated with the new guideline for online cover letters. Your advertisement for the night manager at the Miss Bill Best Hotel. Retainer forms will not recruit from one client to fill a position at another client for at least 2 years. Unscripted life, liberty, and the pursuit of entrepreneurship. Then our paid DJ arrived. We met in the locker room where he checked the anticipative grin as Sandra's bass rattled the steel rockers. Mismeasuring our lives, why GDP doesn't add up. There is also need to stress test balance sheet with alternative valuation when market prices for set are not available or are subject to bubbles and burst. Work less, create more, and design a career that works for you. It's the same with the people who aren't the morning people. Another example is a friend of mine who has a paper diary for work meetings and doesn't want to convert to an online calendar, even though she's been made to feel like she should go digital. Make a list. Make a list of all the things that worked well for you as a personal routine and try embracing them as they are. In what ways can you begin to personalize your life? Yeah, playing to win, how strategy really works. Manage what matters. Manage what matters. The last box in the strategic choice cascade is the most neglected. Often senior management teams formulate the strategy and then broadcast key themes to the rest of the company, expecting quick and definitive action. Do play to your own unique strengths. Yeah, experience the power of nutritional therapy, the four-step program to take charge of emotion today. Include an individualized mood type questionnaire, getting help with a special mood repair project. Infographics for dummies. Identify trends and patterns in the data. Transformation tools. Tools used to scale, rotate, skew, warp, and create the perspective found on the tools palette to palette in Illustrator. But Photoshop has traditionally put those functions via edit, transform. T minus AI. Humanity's countdown to artificial intelligence and the new pursuit of global power. Depending on the unique purpose and the environments in which they are designed to operate, robots can be constructed to acquire information from their surroundings through a wide range of sensors that together can theoretically be used in an unlimited number of combinations. The new climate war, the fight to take back our planet. Here's the problem. The study didn't actually